Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and somebody who has been a massive predictor of financial markets. He just said Trump is going to win and going to lead to a great economy. Before we get started, guys, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to all our videos at youtube.com/@ExplainAmerica if you're not already there. Maybe you guys have seen the movie. I haven't. There's a movie called The Big Short, and it's about this man. And what he did was he knew how to short the markets before the 2008 financial crisis, the housing crisis, the subprime mortgage crisis. If you guys remember that era, it was a really bad time financially, but this guy saw it coming. And he's been a predictor of things in the market for a while. Well, he was on CNBC, and he says he thinks Trump's tariff plan is perfect. He thinks it's going to lead to a fantastic economy for the U.S. He thinks that these countries are going to come to the table and negotiate. And the reason, he says, is because only 11% of the United States economy is based, I should say, of the GDP, is based on exports. Whereas some of these countries, 30, 35, 40% of their GDP is based on exports. So they're going to be hurt a lot worse than the United States is going to be hurt. And the United States can withstand the storm longer than these countries. I think a part of the reason other presidents haven't done it is they didn't want the short-term storm. It creates a lot of anger among the voter base. And even though it's good for the country long-term, people vote a lot of times in the short term. They don't look at the big picture. They look at their bank account. I said this during the previous election that just passed, in November in 2024. People are always looking at, hey, how does this affect me day to day? How does this affect my bank account, my finances, my economic reality? And so that's why I think a lot of presidents haven't done this. But this man lays out a really good case for President Trump's tariffs, and I want you to watch this video and let me know what you think in the comments.
Have been devastated over the last 25 years because of free trade, because they didn't just lose their jobs, they lost their towns. So I think President Trump is taking the attitude, free trade is great, but GDP isn't just a number, it's people. And there are whole parts of this country that have suffered terribly. Mm-hmm. And we have the freest markets in the world, and he wants to reorder it. And I have a lot of sympathy with that. And I think one thing that isn't said enough is that the United States, if that's your goal, the United States is in the best possible position to negotiate towards that goal, because the percentage of U.S. GDP that is composed of exports is only 11%. It's the lowest percentage pretty much of any country on planet Earth. Europe, every country is in excess of 30, except for Germany, which is over 40. Mexico and Canada are over 35%. China, if you factor in all the stuff that they do through Vietnam and Cambodia, is probably 30%. So what's going to happen over the next several months are negotiations, and what's going to become so if people are rational, this is where I don't know what's going to happen. If countries are rational, Canada and Mexico would come to the United States and basically beg, we'll do what you want. Because of the 35% that Mexico and Canada have of their GDP from exports, 25 points of that 35% is just exports to the United States. Those two countries hold no cards. Now, Europe is not much better. And so I think if everybody's rational, they'll lower their barriers. Now, that doesn't mean everybody's rational. There's politics. People might be, some of the politicians might be afraid if we give in, we're going to lose our jobs. Mm-hmm. That's the wild card. If reasonable heads prevail, Trump will get pretty much what he wants.
Let's say the truth is somewhere in between.
Which truth?
In terms of